But he's still number one for the best lead for training.
We'll call this meeting to order. Please join us in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Mixon.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley. Councilor Curry.
Here.
Councilor Howe.
Here.
Councilor Humbert.
Here.
Do you have a quorum?
Is there a motion to approve the agenda, please?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
A motion to approve the minutes of May 23rd, 2023.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of May 2023 council meeting minutes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we don't have any responses from the audience?
No, Mayor.
Any announcements or proclamations? No?
Nope.
And we'll go directly into reports. We'll start with the governing body. I just have a couple of things. Everybody knows the balloons over in the fire starts this week. It's going to be early days. They are going to try to do a balloon glow on Saturday. We haven't had that scheduled in a while, and the weather looks like it might cooperate with us, so that might be pretty fun. Also want to let you know we have hired a code inspector. We've been looking for one for a while, and he started on Monday, and I think he's already started doing rounds. And so his name's Joel, and hopefully we'll get caught up on inspections. Is there any other governing body reports? No? Then we'll go straight to village manager report, and I'll turn the floor over to Morris.
Mayor and Council, just a few things. Last week I attended the City Managers Conference in Santa Fe, and there were various topics discussed, legislative updates, best practices that other communities use. The ones that I want to share with you that are most relevant to us is another round of Water Trust Board funding is coming up, and the two relevant areas that I would consider for applying for funding in the highest priority are both water meter replacement and flood prevention. Because that would assist in drainage, which causes problems not only with flooding, but deterioration of our streets that are unimproved. So those will be two of the things that we'll consider. Also, there's going to be some local government planning funding available. It's up to $50,000, but it's relevant for both of those projects and many more. The other thing that I wanted to share with you is that I started a planning process with our engineers for two major projects that we need to move forward on, whether we have funding identified externally or we do it internally. But these two things, in the short time that I've been here, seem to be the highest priority. The first one is a street improvement plan, so that we can bring our streets at least up to a reasonable level where they can be maintained. And it's going to be a process. It's not going to be weeks. It's probably not going to be months. It's going to be a couple of seasons. But the process that I'm going to coordinating with our engineers is assessment, evaluation, prioritization, and then assignment of the work. We clearly don't have the labor force to do it all, but we do have some funding available to hire people to help us. And we are going to try and accomplish as much as we can in that area this season before winter. It's a process, and the reason that I have the engineers involved is because it involves drainage. And when I say assessment, I mean an entire assessment of all our processes, from Have we trained our operators properly? Do they know the proper techniques for grading? Are we creating crowns in the road? Are we grading to the proper side of the road? Even for things such as snow removal, that affects the conditions of our roads. Our methods of snow removal are going to change. We're going to use methods, and I'll provide more information when I have something visual to show you. We're going to acquire some equipment to test so that we don't create 3-foot berms on everyone's driveway. We understand it's a burden, it's a quality of life. It won't take us any longer. It's just that we haven't been using the technology that's out there. We're not reinventing anything. We're just copying what they do in Minnesota and Aspen and places that get a lot of snow. The second priority is the water meter replacement program. Again, we don't have the staff to do that either, but we can identify funding for that and create a bid document so that we can hire someone to do it. And again, this may take more than one season, but if we have a plan in place, then we can prioritize. The worst ones first. The ones that aren't spinning at all are denying us revenue that we should be collecting. The ones that are a little slower, maybe can wait. But it'll be done reasonably and rationally, and I'll keep you all informed. So that's my report this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Yay. Good plans. We'll go to staff reports, and first we have Chief Lewis.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council, Manager Madrid, folks. You're all well this evening. I placed in front of you all the monthly staff report for month of May for the police department. First one there is calls for service. We've had a total of 45 calls for service. That is a little bit up from normal. Most months they're usually right around 30-ish. And citation, flip over citations for the month's 32, so we're up quite a bit from the previous. I expect this next reporting to even be up more for the month of June. So next page, we had 3 arrests. You can see there, possession of controlled substance, drug paraphernalia, and aggravated DUI. And then below I added, we had 2 crashes for the month of May. And then on the last page is some news for the department. The new unit finally has arrived. It's parked out front. It's a new Tahoe. Picked it up right before I left on vacation. Lieutenant Strickland attended the FBI supervisor training, so he's got that one, the first of his trilogy, out of the way. Officer Hicks attended defensive tactics train the trainer. Equipment for the MDTs that I've spoke about, which are the computers for the officers' units, that started arriving today. So we have all the computer stands are here. The computers are on order, so we're just waiting on them. So we'll start scheduling those for install relatively soon for each of the units, as well as the tracks, which the tracks is the electronic citation system, which incorporates a scanner and a printer, and then it's just software on the computer. That's basically what the state police uses and many other agencies have gone to. It's offered to us free at no cost from New Mexico DOT. So the equipment cost us nothing. We just have to buy the computers. So I picked all that equipment up the same day I picked up the new unit. So it's there at the office. It'll be installed the same time we install the computer stands and the computers in the vehicles. I ordered new handheld radios for the department. They're in as well, so they'll be issued out probably within the next week or so, and the guys will have those. Be a big improvement for the ones that we're presently utilizing. We used the downtime to burn a bunch of PTOs. We did have officers out quite regularly during that little brief break there, trying to get some PTO balances burned down without impacting coverage too much. So. And then I did complete right as I was leaving, I completed the Advanced Supervisor Liability course through the FBI LEADA program, which completed my second trilogy with the FBI LEADA program. That's all I have for tonight. I stand for any questions.
I don't think so. Thank you, sir. And next, we'll turn the floor over to Kimberly.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Clerk, Manager. I just want to give a few updates on the finance department. So you do see we have an executive session to complete our exit conference for fiscal 22 audit. We also have our new audit starting for fiscal 23, a new auditor coming in next week to start the internal controls and set up the schedule. So we can get, ball rolling on that. Our interim budget did get approved 1 week after it was submitted. We do have a few budget schedules we need to look at to kind of fine tune. And then of course we'll present for final budget approval in July. That is due July 31st. And that'll be our cash balances once we have our year end and we do our reconciliations. We'll be able to provide those to get the final budget approved. We have finished the full implementation of Tyler payments. There were some issues of fees being assessed on the customers, and from the get-go, we did not want our customers to have to pay any fees. We have got that corrected and have issued refunds for any of the customers that did have to pay those payments or pay those fees. That has all been rectified. With PSN, the other provider we had, we did get new terminals that will be in for the solid waste department, community center, and courts. The last ones we had were from 2019, so they are quite outdated, and it seems that there's been a few issues, keys going out of, not working and all that, so we've got those coming in the next few months. The last thing is we are looking into getting a new folding machine for the utility billing. The one we currently have is from 2016. It is causing more problems than good, having issues folding the actual bills and tearing up invoices, causing a lot of headache for the utility clerk. So we are looking at some options on that and getting an updated one that would be much faster and much more efficient. And that's pretty much all I have. Any questions?
Thank you. Thank you. Do we have community reports? No? I do know, and you asked earlier, there's a Lodgers Tax Board advisory meeting in the morning at 10. Yes. We'll go to, there's no old business. We'll go right into new business. First is a discussion approval of grant agreement for capital appropriations SAP 22-G2315-STB between New Mexico Environment Department and the Village of Angel Fire. Is there a motion, please?
I make a motion for discussion approval of the grant agreement for capital appropriation SAP 22-G2315-STB between New Mexico Environment Department, NMED, and the Village of Angel Fire.
Is there a second?
Second.
We'll turn the floor over to Julie.
Thank you, ma'am. Madam Mayor, Council, Manager Madrid, and Clerk Box. Before you have the grant agreement, this is for tanks 2 and 4 to be coated. We were awarded $75,000, and the agreement is before you.
And I hope everybody read the 115 pages she sent to us.
It's the Julie show.
I did.
Is there any question?
Does it cover the?
Should send you a light reading.
No, it covers a small portion of that. When last they checked, they said the coating would probably be over $200,000. That, I think what Amos was still here when he last checked.
200 for both tanks?
Yes, sir.
Minus the 75.
So the engineering study has already been done? And
I don't think so. It's a coating. I don't think there was any study done.
okay.
So what's the status? Or do we have the rest of the money or?
As far as I know, we don't.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything put aside for those coatings. I know Chris was gonna get an updated estimate to do that, to do those coatings on those tanks.
Okay.
I
How
haven't received that.
long can we keep the 75,000?
You get,
Till June of 2024?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years. 1 year now.
And if we haven't raised the money by then
the reverse
what?
back to the state.
we give it back?
Commissioner, the language says to plan, design, and actually execute the project, so, I'm sure we would at least get that plan. In coordination with our other water trust board project, we may be able to consolidate some of them, so
Okay, thank
we
you.
shouldn't have an issue.
Right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we have discussion approval of resolution 2023-21, a resolution establishing the fiscal 2023-2024 holiday schedule to be observed by the Village of Angel Fire. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion approval of resolution 2023-21, a resolution establishing the fiscal 2023-2024 holiday schedule to be observed by the Village of Angel Fire.
A second,
Second.
and we will turn the floor over to
Thank you. So each year, council just needs to basically approve and vote on the upcoming fiscal year holiday schedule, and this item fulfills that requirement.
What if I don't believe in holidays?
Straight to jail.
Well, you can work them.
Yeah, you don't have to take off.
Is this an increase in the number of holidays?
No, it's the same that it has been in the past. I think they used to do half days, but we removed
So
those.
Juneteenth takes the place of a different holiday?
No, we didn't have that one before. This
Right.
year's the first year that we're actually doing it.
That's what I thought.
There you go.
So yeah, that
It's a
one is
state.
added.
Approved one.
But we don't have to do it.
No.
Right.
No, not if you don't, but we did take away, usually we have half a day for Christmas Eve and a half a day for
Right.
New Year's Eve. But since they fall on the weekend and we get
Right.
Monday, we didn't see putting half a day on Friday on there.
Yeah.
So now, though, that's a full day that we
So
took
the half
off.
days are gone.
Yeah,
So in future years, to accommodate more Christmas leave, we might change this.
Yeah, we can
possibly,
Right.
look
absolutely.
into that, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any more?
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next is a discussion approval of resolution 2023-22, a resolution authorizing the assignment of authorized officers and agents for grant agreement SAP 22-G2315-STB between the New Mexico Environment Department, NMED, and the Village of Angel Fire. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion approval of resolution 2023-22, a resolution authorizing the assignment of authorized officers and agents for grant agreement SAP 22-G2315 STB between New Mexico Environment Department and NMED and the Village of Angel Fire.
Is there a second?
Second.
We turn the floor back over to you.
Madam Mayor, Council, Manager Madrid, and Clerk Fox. So that grant agreement you just approved, they're going to require a set of signatory authorities. So on the sheet, you have the mayor, the manager, Chris Chavez as the utility director, and myself will be filling out the CPMS. We do have a, further down on the agenda, we do have fiscal agents, and they will also be required to sign. I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Keith?
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Counselor Curry.
Aye.
Counselor Howe.
Aye.
Counselor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next is a discussion approval for a request to enter into an MOU with North Central New Mexico Economic Development District, NCNMEDD, and the Village of Angel Fire for the services of a fiscal agent for SAP 22-G2315-STB. Is there a motion?
Make a motion for discussion approval of a request to enter into an MOU with North Central New Mexico Economic Development District, NCNMEDD, and the Village of Angel Fire for the services of a fiscal agent for SAP 22-G2315-STB.
A second.
Second.
Turn the floor back to Julie.
Okay, Madam Mayor, Council. So before you have the MOU for the COG to act as a fiscal agent for that capital appropriation. And I'll stand for any questions.
How long will we be required to have a fiscal agent?
I don't know, sir. Probably until our audits are squared, until they give us approval.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howe.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Still the Julie Show. Discussion approval for a request to enter into an MOU. Oh, no, I just read that one. Never mind.
E is an MOU too.
It is another.
Oh, it is an MOU.
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't just read that one. We'll go back. Discussion approval for a request to enter into an MOU with North Central New Mexico Economic Development District and the Village of Angel Fire for the services of a fiscal agent for SAP H3085-GF. It's a different one.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion.
Make a motion for discussion approval for a request to enter into an MOU with the North Central New Mexico Economic Development District and the Village of Angel Fire for the services of the physical agent for SAP H3085-GF.
Second.
Ms. Judy.
Okay, Madam Mayor, Council, Manager Madrid, and Clerk Boggs. This MOU is for a different capital outlay funding that we received. This is for the radio communications tower. And once again, the agreements will require a fiscal agent to handle oversee of finances. We have not received that completed grant agreement yet, but they are going to require a fiscal agent. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Now, this one has to be completed by June 30th of 25, correct?
Yes, sir.
We got a little longer on this.
It's less money.
It's $100,000. And on both those MOUs, the COG is charging us 1% of professional services.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howe.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next, we have the discussion approval of draft water conservation plan. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion and approval of draft water conservation plan.
A second?
Second.
I'm going to turn the floor back to Judy.
Okay, so that water trust board funding that we received, hopefully, that's in the works to receive, one of the requirements was to have the water conservation plan. And lo and behold, they have that conservation plan done and in a draft form. I call your attention, council, to item 4, water conservation goals. Some goals for the village, best practices, things to review. We would like to get our unbillable water down 75%, or reduce non-revenue water from 75% to 65% by 2025. Some goals that I think that are pretty reasonable to happen. And I'll stand for any questions you may have.
Julie, who prepared this?
Dennis Engineering,
Well, it's an amazing document.
I thought so.
Yes, it is.
With Dennis and Allison at Dennis Engineering, myself, the utility billing clerk, and Joyce, who's the jail accountant, also provided information for me.
Do you recall how much it cost us for Dennis to do this?
I want to say in the neighborhood of 65,000.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Really well done.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Humbert,
Aye.
motion carried.
Thank you. Discussion approval of renewal for fiscal year 2023-2024 agreement for inmate confinement between the County of Colfax and the Village of Angel Fire. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion and approval of renewal of fiscal year 2023-2024 agreement for inmate confinement between the County of Colfax and Village of Angel Fire.
A second?
Second.
I'm going to turn the floor over to Chief Lewis.
Madam Mayor, members of council, was handed this kind of last minute, so I don't know if you have it in front of you or not. But I was just told that there's no changes from the previous year. It's the same contract, just being renewed. I stand for any questions.
It's a yearly contract. Don't think so.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley,
Aye.
Counselor Curry,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Humbert,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next, we have the discussion approval of resolution 2023-27, a resolution for the VAR 01.
I'm sorry, Mayor. You didn't vote on this last night, did you?
Yes?
I'm sorry.
We just
Pay
did.
attention. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was reading.
Didn't we?
trying to
Did he
catch
mix
up.
me up? We did.
We did, yes.
Before we do that, could I ask you a question on the water plant?
Sure.
Will council be given updates on how this is progressing?
I'm sure they can have updates received to them by either the utility billing or the water department. Noticing a loss of non-revenue water, then that could be arranged for sure.
Okay. I think it would be nice if council is kept up on how this is progressing.
Maybe quarterly reports or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Sure.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Discussion approval of resolution 2023-27, a resolution for VAR 01-23, a variance to the sign regulation to allow an off-premise directional sign in conjunction with a detached on-premise sign for 3377 Mountain View Boulevard. Is there a motion?
Make a motion for discussion and approval of resolution 2023-27, a resolution for VAR 01-23, a variance to the sign regulations to allow an off-premise directional sign in conjunction with a detached on-premise sign for 3377 Mountain View Boulevard.
A second, please.
Second.
And we'll turn the floor over to Morris.
Mayor and council, very briefly, there was previously a directional sign on the property. We did confirm that the property is rightfully owned by the applicant. And this item was presented to planning and zoning last week and comes with their recommendation for approval.
Any questions? No? We'll call for a vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley,
Aye.
Counselor Curry,
Aye.
Counselor Howell,
Aye.
Counselor Humbert,
Aye.
motion carried.
Next is the discussion approval of an ordinance amendment for variant sales spacing requirement. This is the first reading of a public hearing, and I open it up as a public hearing. And I'll turn the floor over to Morris.
Mayor and council, this language is to define and bring us in line with the Alcohol and Gaming Act, which requires the local governing body to approve any exceptions to the act. This one based on distance from church, school, or other property that may come under the act. This was not taken to any other committee because the governing body is the authority. That's why it came straight to you. And recommend your approval for the change in the language.
And this is a public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this matter? Or questions? No? Any council?
I have a question, I guess. There is a restaurant that currently is asking for this, or?
Yes.
Well, yes, and right now the issue is not that particular business, it's the language in our code that doesn't allow for the process.
Right.
This is to establish the process. But you are correct, there is one consideration.
So assuming that we approve this, is it approved for everyone, or do they have to come back?
It's not approved for anyone. We're only approving the process.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. We'll close the public hearing and call for a vote to take it into a second public hearing.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Howe.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Next, we have executive session per NMSA 1978, section 12-6 and 2.2, 10M1 and MAC, an audit exit conference. Is there a motion, please?
Make a motion for executive session per NMSA 1978, section 12-6 and 2.2.210M1 NMAC.
Is there a second?
Second.
Then I call that we go into executive session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. So now do we need a motion to come out? Keith, isn't that what we're doing now?
Yes.
Okay, so we report that we come out of executive session and that there was nothing discussed other than what's discussed. And we need a motion?
Yes.
Motion to come out of the executive session.
Does he have to read the whole thing? Yes, I think
Yes.
Per NMSA 1978, section 12-6 and 2.2.2.10M1 MNAC.
Second.
I would call this executive session is closed. Right, then do we have to vote on it?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll call for a vote.
Mayor Pro Tem Billingsley.
Aye.
Councilor Curry.
Aye.
Councilor Humbert.
Aye.
Councilor Howe.
Aye.
And then can you
We
make
go-
a motion for aye?
Yes, so to do that, just ask for a motion because I came out of the public hearing.
Mhm.
We're
So
back
that
at
one-
aye.
yeah.
Can I have a motion, please?
Make a motion for discussion approval of an ordinance amendment for variance cells spacing requirements.
Second.
Thank you.
And we've already voted.
I've already voted.
Yes.
I make a
I call this
motion to go
meeting
home.
adjourned. Okay,
Thank you, Belle.
You bet.
yeah.